Hello and welcome to a brand new tutorial here for Metal Gear Solid on PC. Today I'm going to show you how to tackle the Hind fight on PC. This is in context of the all bosses speedrun category, so we are not only going to go into the Hind-D fight itself, but I will also show you the important bits before and after. How much ammunition you should pick up before the fight, and especially what the advantages are of taking less than what you think. So let's get right to it. Let's go over the basics of the fight first, and then afterwards I'm going to show you all the different difficulties and of course what is important to do before starting the fight and what is useful then after the fight. The most important basics about the Hind fight is that there's two phases. In the first phase, the Hind will just go above your head, back and forth. Every time you hit him, you basically want to loop him, so he goes firstly from the starting point, of course, and then when he comes back from after the initial shot, you just need to tap him again. This leads to the first half literally being just a cat and mouse game where you shoot him first, he's going away from you, and while he tries to fly over here, you need to shoot him again. After you hit him then, you just need to wait for him to return and give it another shot. In basic back and forth motion, you do not need to change your view unless you miss him. This accounts for all difficulties in the beginning. The first half on easy, very easy, and normally you just need 6 shots to get him to low enough damage so he starts his next phase. On the higher difficulties, it takes up to 7 shots. Then, when the Hind is done with his first phase, it will actually loop over to the east side of the building and it will shoot one rocket. Here's the cool thing though, of course, since we are on PC, we will be in guard mode. This is why all of the strats work the way they work. You can stand out in the open and the Hind will not damage you, as you will instantly use your guard mode exploit. So even when he does this big attack between his two phases, you don't need to worry where you stand. In the second half of the fight, the Hind will come towards you and will also dip below the building. When the Hind dips below the building, you cannot damage the Hind anymore. You need to wait for him to go up again. Ideally, if you do this fight correctly in the second half, you will never have a chance to drop below the building. This is called caging. You basically trap the Hind over and over again by attacking him rapidly as soon as his iframes open up again. After having lowered his health to 0, we're just gonna grab a fresh pack of Stinger missiles and then we can end the fight. Alright, now that you heard the basic premise of this fight, let's go into the final details of the Hind fight. Before you start the fight even, you need to grab the Stinger weapon in the middle of Tower B and of course also grab the extra ammunition box. With that Stinger weapon and the extra box, you will have 6 rockets in total. There's more ammunition up top of the tower where you can go up to 20 missiles. There's 1 ammo pack right at the ladder, 1 ammo pack in the bottom corner to the left, and then 1 further ammo pack to the bottom right. Ideally, you only take as much ammunition as you really need. In easy and very easy, you need 6 shots to end the first half. If you only grab the weapon and the extra pack at the start of Tower B, you will already have enough and you can basically ignore all the ammunition that is on top of the Tower B. Why does that make a difference? After you end the fight with the Hind, you will come back down again here at this point at the ladder. And you want to grab, of course, more Stinger ammunition, as it will be useful in the Wolf 2 fight that happens almost immediately after this fight. So strategizing when to grab your ammo and how much you bring into the fight with the Hind will also be important to decide how to tackle the next fight with Wolf 2. That will follow in its own video. Resources for how to do the Wolf 2 fight can already be found on MetalGearSpeedrunners.com and the wiki for Metal Gear Solid. Here's an example sheet of how many shots you need and can have for the Hind fight and of course for after that moving to Wolf 2. Imagine you have all the Stinger missiles that you got in the beginning and end of Tower B and you start the fight with 20 missiles. If you were to only grab the initial 6 missiles with the weapon and the extra pack at the weapon and don't pick any of the ones at the ladder, you could get potentially even more, because at the bottom of the stairs there will be 15 more shots, and because you're ranked up you can even hold more ammo. leaving you with up to 20 shots going into the Wolf 2 fight. The other scenario is that you grab the 6 missile shots that you get at the beginning of Tower B, then you walk up and you grab the one that's right at the ladder. That's leaving you with 11 shots, and then the first half you don't need to worry if you miss a rocket or not. I personally would recommend this variant in the beginning of the fight when you start out learning it. You have 11 shots, you can miss up to 5 before you need to think about the second half. So even if you miss 5 shots, you still have 6 that you can just hit in the first half, and then you go into the second phase. If you grab the one by the ladder, you will not be able to have that ammo box at the ladder anymore, as it needs up to 2 room changes until ammo spawns again. What I really would not recommend is grabbing all the ammo or grabbing the second box. There's no benefit anymore at this point. If you are not practiced enough and need 16 shots, which you can get if you get the one at the ladder and on the bottom left side of the Tower B top, you already should be practicing this fight more individually. It is not too complex, and I will show you in just a second what I mean by that. There's very easy rules to follow. So, if you grab the one at the ladder, you can just go to the bottom south, which is a little bit out of your way, but doesn't waste too much time. And then you can climb down the Tower B. Alright, so you're playing Metal Gear Solid on PC, and I hope you already have been familiarized a little bit with the way how hotkeys work. The number keys respond, of course, to weapon keys, and if you press 5, you will go into the stinger. When we start the fight, I'll walk through the door and hold down X at 5 to be immediately in the stinger view. Then I dip up with the D-pad whilst holding the attack key and let go as soon as I see the red box indicating that the stinger is locked on. That first shot will always hit the same if you do this correctly, and the hind will fly directly above you. This is basically 0 RNG, as you can replicate it fairly consistent. The second shot should be happening as soon as the hind starts flying towards you. Though be careful, you can do this too early. Wait literally until you can actually see that the hind is moving towards you. Just like in this video, see right now. Let me just loop that a little bit. This is the point where the second shot should go at. After that, you have 4 more to do for the first half, if you're on easy, for example. So just look at where the hind will fly above you with the radar on. I really recommend, if you're not familiar with this fight yet, start on easy or normal with the radar on. Then you can roughly tell where the hind will be above you. The third and fourth shot and the fifth and sixth shots are basically the same. The third shot, the hind comes back above your head again. You literally just need to wait for him to be visible, walk onto it, and you're good to go. You don't need to do that with the lock-on if you know exactly where the hind is. You can basically do a hip shot, without the lock-on, but I would specifically as a beginner recommend to wait for the lock-on to work. The shot that happens next, the fourth one, and also the sixth one, is when he flies from the right side of the building above your head again. This is a little bit tricky because this can be RNG which angle he approaches you. If he flies again straight above your head, it's literally like the second shot. Just aim up a little bit maybe, and with your right timing you will hit the hind fairly easily. It is a very large hitbox that he has. Not actually the visible ones, but the entire rotor, for example, is part of the hitbox. Caution though, on extreme his hitbox is actually smaller, because instead of 3 he has only 1. So you gotta be a bit more dead center with that shot. If he flies towards to your left, I usually turn the camera to the left until the center, which you can see in the stinger view, is basically on the pillar of the corner of the building. It's sort of a 45-degree angle at this point. If you just turn left until the center of the stinger meets the pillar, let go of the weapon button, and that should be just the right timing so you hit the hind, because he will most likely almost fly to the left at that same angle. If he turns to your right, you basically need to do the same motion. It happens not as often as the left turn, but you have to make sure that you still hit him. Basically look at this angle. These are the 3 outcomes where the hind will fly above your head again. If you hit him early enough, he will almost instantly turn around again. Let's watch this full sequence again of the first phase back, and then with a quicker explanation. In the beginning we go through the door and then hold X and 5 to be immediately in the stinger. Tap up on the D-pad, see the red box, and shoot immediately. Then we're gonna wait for the hind to start flying towards us and just look straight at him. The first shot will always be directly above our head. Coming back, we turn around, see that the Hind is there, wait for the lock on and shoot. Since he's already on the left half, I know I can turn left and go right above that pillar there for the 4th shot. When again for the 5th shot, I come over, see he's there again, locking on, and he will also go left again because he's already on the left side of my field of view. And that's how you do the first phase of the Hind. If you miss a shot, or if you wanna not grab the ladder ammo for normal, hard and extreme difficulty, this is where you get easily more ammo without losing time. After each 2nd shot, you can basically go further towards the ammo box that's in the bottom right corner of the building. You have to do this in the first half, because in the second half you will go there anyway. But this is how you do the first half of the Hind fight. To set up the second phase of the Hind fight, there's basically 2 approaches that you can do. They end up still in the same position. You want to end where the ammo box is in the bottom right corner of the building. It will be always there. And I can really recommend that you go on the edge of where the box is. So you just pick it up, but not that you stand literally on top of it. It can happen that the spawn point of that ammo box changes to be on the top right of the building. So what I usually do is I walk close to the box, and don't worry, there's enough time after you hit the last shot of the first phase. Liquid will even yell at you and say, nice shot. When he says nice shot, you know, okay, the second phase is about to begin. Just walk to the bottom right and make sure that you're not on top of the box, but rather on the edge, so you can just barely pick it up. I personally prefer to start my second phase like this, because there's always enough time. We are in God mode, so that rocket from the Hind will not kill us. And if we just take a look to the right inside of the Stinger view, we can already set up for the next shot. The first shot of the second phase ideally just hits him where he is. Just lock onto him, give yourself enough time, and you will always get it. Then, the second shot in the second phase, you basically wait for him to come close to you. This is where we start the so-called caging of the fight. The Hind will most likely be a little bit static above you. And in order to prevent him from diving below the building where he cannot be shot, even if you manage to shoot him with his stinger, the damage will just not be accounted for. So the strat is to damage the Hind over and over again so he barely moves away. You have to remember only 2 things really. The hitbox is huge, and the iframes come back closely after you start shooting him again. So once you hit the Hind with your stingers, just wait until the LMG is starting to shoot you again. Once that happens, depending on the distance, you can basically count 1, 2, and then shoot another stinger. If he's very close to you, it's really recommended to wait more. If he's very far away from you, you can actually start immediately shooting with another stinger as soon as the LMG starts shooting you, because that's just the timing it needs for the iframes to drop. Again, here also getting a little bit of a feeling for the fight will bring you a long way. And then ideally, the Hind will not have dropped at all, and you will have successfully caged him. The reason why we want to be on the edge of the ammo box is very simple. Once we have set our last shot off in the stinger, we are empty. A new box should spawn where we are. Ideally, if you're not directly on top of the box, the ammo box will always spawn where you already are. You literally need to just unequip the stinger with R1, and you will immediately pick it up again. So if you run out of stingers, press R1, press R1 again, and you can immediately start looking at the Hind again and get ready for the next shot to be sent off. Repeat until you're done with the fight. I don't want to just show you how to fight the Hind itself, I also want to show you how the whole segment works. So we start actually a little bit earlier from the walkway, where ideally you would have done the boba skip, and you go towards grabbing the stinger and grabbing the ammo box. Then just proceed as usual to go down that tower B. When you go up again, you want to utilize the weapon switching before walking into the cutscene. This little thing saves you around a second instead of just going in there with guard mode, which we used to do earlier. Simply use any of the 2 weapons that you have. Usually it is stun and shafts, for example. Hold the lower numbered weapon, so in the case of the stun it's 8, and tap the 9, so you constantly switch back and forth between stun and shaft. That will allow you to walk instantly into the cutscene trigger and not have you wait before Snake actually, gets his gun out, waits to go around the corner. It's much faster. Just hold down X, of course, to skip the cutscene, and then immediately perform GME, so the God mode. Press 09 fastly after another, and then press the first person button so you get your menus back. You want to then also use your door key, because after the cutscene has been played, the door key will be placed out of your hand. So just press L1 and then start extending the tower B. When you're at the top, again, how many stinger bullets you want to take with you? Ideally, I would recommend in the beginning you start with 11 shots. That's more than enough for the first half. And in the second half, you will be standing already on the ammo box. I will once again go through the Hind fight, but this time more superficial. So again, press X and 5 to start immediately, deepen it up and then shoot so you're locked on and do the first shot. Second shot, do a little bit delayed. You can see here the example where I grab extra backup ammo just in case you want it or need it even on higher difficulties. Shoot the second shot as soon as it's locked on and then get ready for positioning. And then it's again the back and forth shots, number 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. As you can see here, always when he comes to the right, I just wait for the lock on, and if he goes to the left across my head, I align myself so I hit him definitely with the correct angle. After the first phase, move over to the bottom right where the ammo box will be and stand roughly on the corner here. You can see it not in this clip because I already grabbed it just to have backup ammo. This is what I explained earlier. Stand in position and thankfully to God mode again, you just need to be waiting here until the rocket will come in. That girder will be moved away. And then you can shoot the first shot to start the second phase. Just turn around, quickly unequip, tap left on the D-pad and you are 180 turn around. Equip the stinger again, get ready. He either comes from the left side or the right side. And as soon as he's hovering over you, you can initiate that caging process I described earlier. Basically shoot him constantly as soon as his iframes open up again. Keep at it until you're empty and out of stingers. You will definitely need at least one more ammo box here. Quickly unequip the stinger and then you will be, if placed well, directly grabbing it again. Re-equip it again and continue the shooting. If you did your last shot, make sure to empty your stingers so you have at least a new box spawning in and already 5 when you end this fight. After that, when you go down the ladder, you can grab additionally more stinger ammo as you need for the Wolf 2 fight. Also make sure, when the fight ends, that you have your chaff equipped already. If you have your chaff equipped and not your stinger, we can, after the code call, immediately switch to the door key and chaff in our hand with L1 and R1 and get out of the tower B top. Once this cutscene is over, just hold X. And now once the animation stops from Snake, you can just press select and then escape to close the codec as fast again. As you can see here, I just pressed L1 and R1 and now I can go down here as quickly as possible. Once we're down the ladder again, just make sure that you grab as much ammo as you need. In my example here, I only grabbed 1, so I have 10 stinger ammo for the Wolf 2 fight. And then keep walking down that tower again. Once you reach the middle of that tower at the elevator, do not start the elevator fight unless you really want it. In all bosses using glitches, we can walk back again to the door where we came in, go towards the door, wait for it to open, crouch, again press 09 quickly to go into God mode phase 2, and then stand up again. Walk towards the door and go to the left. We will literally drop all the way off that tower down to the door where we would go to the snowfield. We are in God mode 2 right now. That means our hitbox has been left basically in front of the door where we came from. So as soon as you go down there to the snow door, lie down so the hitbox gets taken back again to you and you end that glitch and walk through the door from the other side. And then you made it to the snowfield to immediately begin the Wolf 2 fight. That is the entire sequence of the Hind fight in all bosses, using glitches in all methods. This has been the Hind tutorial for Metal Gear Solid on PC. My name is Houses. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, if you want to learn the rest of the run, check out the MetalGearSpeedrunners.com wiki for this game, where we explain all the other boss fights as well. Have a nice day and see you soon.